WDBM East Lansing, you're tuning in to The Basement. I'm your host, Emma, and tonight we have the Mia Chinni trio with us tonight, and a special guest, Sydney.
Hello, I am not just Sydney tonight. I am also the host of our jazz or flagship jazz specialty show, Sound of Color, which is on Mondays from 10 p.m. to midnight. And tonight we have, like you said, a special session, which I'm so excited for. So if you all want to introduce yourselves and the instruments that you'll be playing tonight, that'd be awesome.
My name is Mia Chinni, and I play guitar.
I'm Jonathan Hilliard. I play the bass.
Hi, I'm Alonso Humana. I play the drums.
And this is actually a quartet. And I'm Sean Labita, and I'm playing piano.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. And like we said, okay, Mia Chinni quartet for tonight. Okay, cool. So could you give us a little bit of an introduction to the songs that you all will be playing for us tonight, and if any of them are original compositions?
So none of them are originals. They're actually all jazz standards,
Nice.
which is, like, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like how there are covers now. Like, people do covers of songs, but people would just play the melodies to those songs and then improvise. So the first song we're going to do is called Lotus Blossom. It was written by a trumpet player called Kenny Dorham. I guess we'll just get started.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. If you want to introduce the next song that you all will be playing for tonight.
The next song we'll be playing is called Monk's Dream. It was written by Thelonious Monk, who was a very influential jazz pianist and composer.
Sweet, take it away. my gosh, I love jazz so much.
I say that almost every Monday.
Literally.
And Tuesday.
So where do you guys usually perform?
I guess around here
In East Lansing, Lansing area?
in like Detroit.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna ask if it was mostly in Lansing or if it was kind of all over Michigan.
Yeah, I guess we play all over Michigan. We go to. I haven't been to Traverse City, but some of my friends have been there.
It's a pretty place.
Yes, and Grand Rapids, all over the state. There's a lot of places to play in the state.
Oh yeah,
so
for
we,
sure.
we travel, yes.
Do you guys have a favorite venue?
Right here.
Yes!
Oh, good answer.
Right here!
What about have you guys ever been to a jazz club?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Is
have-
there
Yeah.
is there a good one around Lansing that you'd recommend?
In Lansing, I think I would probably recommend Moriarty's.
Oh,
Every
actually, me and
Tuesday-
Sydney were just talking about that.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah. So every Tuesday at Moriarty's, there's a show and a jam session. And it's always somehow related to MSU in some kind of way. Most of the time.
Cool.
So we go very often.
Right. I feel like Moriarty's is kind of like the hub for people to go to in at least East Lansing and Lansing area.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So are you all involved in any other kind of groups for jazz, or is this kind of your main shindig?
I think we all play with different people in different groups.
Right.
I'm playing with Jonathan and Alonso at the Robin Theater on the 1st at 1 p.m.
Nice.
Sweet.
Is that kind of what usually goes about within jazz? Like, is it kind of like you go into different like groups and stuff to play with other people and jam out and stuff like that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, jazz has that quality that if you have a group of musicians that know the same maybe style of jazz or maybe have similar influences, they can play a concert without rehearsing or saying anything. So that allows for us to work with a lot of different people without having to like commit to one band, as opposed to maybe rock bands where like if you're in that band, you're in that band. And if you get into another one, they start getting jealous and stuff like that. So in jazz, it's a little bit more flexible. So yeah, we all have different projects that we play in. And sometimes you just get a call, hey man, I just recommended you for this, show up. And you just show up and you don't know anyone, and that also happens a lot.
That's cool though. Yeah.
I think since we're also all rhythm section players here, which is like
Yeah.
the accompaniment of most bands, if there are like horns or like a singer, we're usually called for that kind of stuff pretty often. So that's like, we pick the best instruments, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
Are these your main instruments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys have never played any others?
Not well. Not me personally.
No.
Right.
I used to play violin and percussion, and I gave those up because piano takes too much time.
You chose the right one.
I did, yes.
I play a little bit of piano, especially because I try to compose and arrange. And the drum set is just not enough to be able to do that. So you gotta learn piano. So I play a little bit of piano too.
Yeah. How would you guys describe like the Lansing jazz community?
So you're talking about the MSU Jazz Studies program, I guess.
You know, I actually me and Sydney were talking about that, and we were like, I feel like probably the jazz community around here is mostly the students, but I was just curious if you guys knew more.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are jazz musicians that live here, and there's very few. But I would say it's interesting because even though there's maybe not a lot of places to play compared to like very big cities, of course, there's still a lot of talent. Like, it's insane. The people at the jazz program is like really top level, and they could be like very important musicians in any other city. Like, after they move, wherever they move, they'll be like one of the best in their instrument. So it's interesting of how small it is compared to how many good musicians there are. So Lansing is special for that, for sure.
Nice.
Right. And I feel like that's showcased here. Just like you guys are really talented, so it just shows how much talent we really have here in Lansing, in East Lansing. So
Thank you.
awesome. And so how did you guys end up choosing like your specific instrument and or going down the jazz route? Loaded question.
Me? Oh, I don't know. I heard this bass player, Jaco Pastorius, on electric bass, and I started trying to play like him. And then I realized he was trying to play like an upright bass player, like, so I started playing that. And that just when I started playing it, like hearing how much sound it gets and how long it sustains, and it's like a wooden sound, it's like organic. So that's kind of how I got down that rabbit hole. Yeah.
What about you, Mia?
Guitar or jazz?
Both.
Both.
We're super curious on how you started.
Well, my parents were trying to force me to take piano lessons, but I hated it. No offense, Sean. And I was like 6, and I saw Taylor Swift on TV, and it had a big impact on me. So, yeah. And then I got into jazz. My friend showed me Antonio Carlos Jobim, who's like a Brazilian guitarist. And I fell in love with like his music and Chet Baker. Like, I just feel like jazz has like, it has an opportunity for depth that like I don't know if other. It sounds really pretentious to say, but like, that's just my opinion.
Jazz is the best.
Yeah, someone described, and I don't know, I don't think that this is any tea or shade or anything like that, but someone described jazz as like having your vegetables. Like, you gotta eat your vegetables to stay healthy.
I feel like I get a healthy dose of jazz.
Yeah. Just
I'd say.
it's a part of the food pyramid or,
Yeah.
plate.
Yeah. Maybe like a third,
Yeah,
I'd say.
6.
Should be.
Right.
Anyways. What made you guys want to go to school for jazz?
I'm gonna tail that question with the last one. So I started piano, and I think when I was like 9, my mom like saw me like toying on a piano at a store and was like, "We should get him lessons." And then I just like started practicing, and I went to my undergrad for classical piano actually. But while I was there, I met some of my really good mentors who were like, "You should do jazz." And so like my freshman year in my undergrad, I like auditioned for like the big bands and stuff, and then eventually I'm from Nebraska, and so there aren't too many piano players there. So just kind of like was on the scene after that point, and I just eventually liked it enough where I was like, maybe I should go like making a lot more money doing that than classical, that's for sure. So I was like, I should probably go to school for jazz, and I am, and so now I'm here.
Nice. What about you?
For me, it's 2 reasons. One is a visa, because I'm from Costa Rica, and I knew I wanted to come to the United States to play with musicians from here and learn from musicians from here. And going to school really helps me because then you get a student visa. And the other one was because I remember seeing musicians that came to play to my country, and just looking them up, they all had degrees from universities. And then I remember seeing young musicians that were on tour with like an elder, someone older and like way more experienced, and they happened to be their student either at Juilliard or MSM or any of these other schools. And I was like, whoa, I want to be able to do that. And it just looked like the school was a path to get there. And if I want to say, like, I don't know, maybe MSU has a very good way of doing that. I did my undergrad somewhere else, and even though it was a good school, it didn't really help you in that kind of way. It was not as good as it is at MSU, I would say, maybe.
Nice. So are you guys all graduate programs then? Or just you two?
Yes.
Okay, nice. And then Mia, you're doing jazz studies?
Yeah, me and Jonathan are seniors, and we're both double majoring.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What else are you guys doing?
I'm double majoring in history, but I got the credits done pretty early, and
Nice.
yeah, I didn't think it was that hard compared to like what you're doing.
I'm doing computer science.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm taking the maximum credits every semester. It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
One day you'll be able to code your own bass.
That's right.
Okay, well, that is kind of all that we have for that interview portion. So if you want to introduce the next song for us.
Okay. So the next song we're going to be doing is called I Thought About You. It's another jazz standard. It's traditionally performed as a ballad. My favorite recording of it is Miles Davis at My Funny Valentine, that record. I don't know if you guys have a different take, but we're going to do it a little bit differently.
Beautiful. Can't wait. Beautiful. Like, beautiful.
I love the improv on that.
Like, genuinely. I already know what's up next personally, and it's a personal favorite of mine. So if you'd like to introduce it, that'd be awesome.
The next song we're going to be doing is called My Ideal. It's a jazz standard as well. It's a ballad. I think the most famous version is probably Chet Baker on Chet Baker Sings. And we're going to be performing it as a duo with just me and Jonathan.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Excited.
feel like my brain just melted. Happiness.
You do not understand the impact that album has had on my sleep throughout my entire life. Well, that was amazing. If you wanna-
We were curious about what it feels like for you guys to play in front of other people.
I think it depends on the scenario a lot. There's a lot of... I mean, I used to be really afraid to play in front of anyone, but now a lot of people aren't intimidating. Some people are. I think it kind of depends on the situation. What about you guys?
I played a gig over the summer with some friends back home in Mexico where no one showed up. It was like us, trio, and the owner of the venue. It's like a small music school. And my friend was like, whatever, let's just play and record some videos so we have some content, whatever. I was like, okay. And I was so tired. That was after like a week-long tour. And I was so tired. And I was like barely playing. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just play, you know. But then like 2 people show up, 2 complete strangers. And then I was like, okay, time to play now. Because someone's watching, you know. And like those friends of mine are like almost students of mine. They grew up. I taught them a bunch of stuff. So when they came in, I was like, okay, now are you guys ready? Cause I'm going for it. And yeah, so I prefer playing in front of people for sure. But yeah, like Mia said, there's people that is really scary. Like some of our professors are really scary.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I always get really nervous in front of people, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if I could play jazz, which I cannot play jazz, I feel like it'd be such a fun, fun vibe, I guess.
Yeah. No, someone had told me at one point that if you don't play in front of people, it's just like you're practicing, you know, playing in front of people, like it's that flow, that cycle that you get from the audience to you.
Do you usually get like a lot of audience feedback, or like the places that you play, is it kind of just like not really super interactive? Because I feel like I guess there could be a lot of scenarios where jazz is just kind of like the background music, but I don't know what your guys' experience are with that.
What do you mean by feedback?
Like, is it like a lot of audience feedback? Like, are people really engaging with your music, or
Like in the moment.
yeah?
I think it really depends on like who's in the crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
For example, like at a jazz show, and if you got jazz musicians in the crowd, they're going to be much more likely to like actually like clap for solos, or like if I'm in the crowd, you guys will know because like I don't really like to shout and stuff because it's like fun because like I want to give that energy to a performer like who like if there's no energy, then it's so much harder for us as performers to like make something happen. It's like then we're doing all the work. Where but there's some times where it's like, oh man, you really do have to do all the work. Here I've noticed it's kind of like a split in Lansing where sometimes it feels like, oh man, like we're really going, and then there's some crowds that I'm like, okay, well, here we are, okay.
It definitely depends. I played this gig with some of my friends as like a background gig for like a gala, and we like the rule for that is don't play anything. Or like, would you guys agree if it's a background music gig, don't play anything too up or like too intense. It's supposed to be kind of like palatable. But I really wanted to play this one song. I want to play Scrapple like super fast.
Yeah.
And we did it, but then the people actually started like jumping. Like they were like dancing and stuff. And so I was like, normal people can definitely like connect with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's special. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I sometimes, yeah, because like what Sean was saying, it's like jazz music is not really about us. It's not like, oh, look at us. It's more like we're playing for you guys and your energy fits into how we play. Because sometimes I've been playing at clubs where like people paid a cover to be there and they're supposed to be watching and listening. And after 1 or 2 songs, I realized, oh, they're starting to like not engage with us. And you can just tell by what they're doing, if they're on their phone or if they're tapping their feet, you know, if that's good. So if they are not engaging with us, I always think, okay, band, we need to do something because they are not engaging with us. And that means we are not doing our job, you know, which is to entertain and provide a good musical experience. So and sometimes you play gigs where they just hire you to be the background, and sometimes it's a little hard because then you don't have that interaction. But I've had experiences where someone comes after the gig is over and they happen to be listening. Maybe it was a gala or like a fancy restaurant, and they were like, "Man, you guys killed it. That song that you guys played remind me of whatever." And then that's where you get that interaction. Maybe the space is not meant for that, but there's always someone that's there and that appreciates and that's listening, and that's like inspiring to keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What do you guys think about, like, while you guys are performing, like, people like you said, like getting up and like dancing and stuff like that? I've been to a lot of different places where it's like it feels like you guys are playing like super upbeat music and like everyone's just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, don't you guys feel it, you know?
I wish there was more of that. I feel like people don't think you can have fun. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, that's like how it came about, is like people playing it and dancing like in communities and stuff. So I wish it was still like that more.
We need to bring back dancing.
Right.
Yeah, bring back
guys, bring back dancing.
Not just at frat parties.
No, that's where you guys need to be, right?
I don't know about that.
Unanimous.
I don't even know what a frat guy would do if he interacted with jazz music.
His third eye would open. Okay, so I would like to know, like, in 3 words, how you all would describe jazz. And I want 3 from each one of you.
Different words or a sentence?
It can be the same
Little
words if
words.
you guys want, but 3 individual words, nouns, verbs, whatever.
Someone else go.
I don't want to go. Someone else.
I almost have.
Insert Jeopardy music.
Yes.
Ask ChatGPT. See what
Yeah. Ask ChatGPT.
Ask
We were-
ChatGPT.
Not really.
Those are mine.
We'll
To me,
take that.
it's I guess community, creativity, and I don't know. Blank.
Blank.
You, John.
I'm gonna hop on that one. I think of it as expression, as humanity, and also as groove.
Groove.
Yeah.
It's probably personal, communication, and lineage.
That was gonna
That
be
was
my
good.
third word.
Sorry, man.
I was gonna say the word legacy.
Oh,
Right.
That's
Oh,
better.
yeah,
No, your
I'm gonna use
legacy's
that.
better.
You-
America, tradition, and culture.
Okay.
So you said tradition. Someone has once told me that they're often told jazz is tradition. Are you guys often told that as well? And kind of what does that mean to you? It doesn't have to be the correct definition or whatever, but
I think you gotta understand that jazz is a folkloric music. Jazz is the folkloric music of the United States of America, and it came to be by the interchange of cultures musically. So the mix of European culture, African culture, Latin American culture, Native American, all of that came together to become jazz. So what happened is that music evolved through the time, and the tradition means, to me, it means to keep the meaning that music had when it was conceived.
nice. I love that. If anyone else wants to put their 2 cents in.
The drum professor here would say that jazz is American classical music. And it's interesting because what most people think about as jazz was kind of like reimagining pop music. And that kind of ended a while ago. And now we just kind of play the reimagined pop music of the 50s and 60s. So in that way, it's kind of traditional. But there's some new stuff happening that kind of goes outside of that box. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you guys prefer like new or old jazz?
Old.
Old jazz, I see.
Yes.
For
What
the
a-
most part, yes.
Okay. What about like more experimental jazz?
I think it just depends what they're doing. Like, I think if they actually have studied things from the past, then they can, like, expand on it. Like, if they know, like, the melody and the harmony, then they can go outside of it. But if they don't, and if they haven't spent enough time with it, it just kind of sounds, like, random and, like, they don't really care. I don't know if you guys feel... It's, like, doing extra stuff just for the sake of, like, being modern.
Okay. Interesting.
But I know a lot of people will call that like a traditionalist, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well...
But it's just, I don't know, it's just a silly debate. I think they, like, traditional jazz, or like close to what we're doing right now, is already, what was the word you used? Experimental?
Yeah.
It's already experimental. Because we've never played that song, the four of us, of the previous song.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know what is gonna happen. We know some stuff is gonna happen, but even I guess you're talking about more avant-garde. Even those guys know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
They're just gonna go. Right. So how experimental is it if you know you're gonna do that?
Right. We're getting into the deep questions here on the basement tonight. Okay. Well, actually, I did want to know how you guys... We've seen throughout the songs, you guys kind of signal to each other what's going on. So I know that jazz in itself is a language, but do you all have your own little language that you discuss amongst each other while playing?
Yeah.
That's the melody. We're going back to the melody.
Well, I feel like I saw you guys either point at each other or, like, I don't know, signal in some way that was like, oh, it's your turn to do improv, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so most, if you're going to play, like, a jazz standard, most performances have, like, a specific formula. It's kind of like the way that you tell the story is you start with the tune, which I consider, like, you know, the thing that we are about to tell the story about, and then every single time someone takes a solo, they're telling, like, an interpretation of that story. And so we're signaling to each other, we're, like, pointing, like, hey, it's your turn to tell your story, basically. And then it's like, oh, we got to go back to the melody. Then, as Jonathan did, we'll point to our head. But, you know, all of those, like, small cues to be like, oh, it's your turn, you know. There's a lot of non-verbal stuff happening as musicians. We have to be able to catch all of it.
Do you guys usually come up with, like, a who's going in what order before you guys play or no?
The general formula is the person that plays the melody plays first, and then, I don't know, I guess, I mean, usually it's just first person, like, comping instrument, bassist, drum, I don't know, we're just kind of playing it by ear, I guess.
Well, it sounds like you guys, like, knew how you were gonna do it.
Exactly. Like, I would have to agree. I feel like if I was in your shoes, I'd get all jumbled up being like, wait, who's going? Whose turn is it?
It's my turn.
That
Oh
still
my god.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has already happened, you just don't know it.
Yeah.
Well, you recovered pretty well then.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So if you'd like to introduce the next song that you all would be playing tonight.
I think let's just do Corcovado.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The next song we're gonna be playing is called Corcovado. It's a Brazilian song written by Antonio Carlos Jobim, and we're gonna do it a little bit differently.
WDBM East Lansing. You're listening to The Basement, and today we have the Mia Chinni Trio. Well, I mean, Quartet. This time. But oh my gosh, that was really good.
Each time I listen to jazz, I feel like I'm just an enjoyer, right? I don't play myself, so I don't really know all of the technicalities that you guys might be doing in your improvisations.
Yeah.
All right. Them all pointing at me, but like, yeah, that's right. But it still is like I that's one thing that I absolutely love about not only just jazz but just music in general is that no matter if you know it, how to play it, or even if it's in like a different language or something like that, even if you know the language or don't know it, you can still hear its beauty, and that's just one of the things that I love so much. You guys are nodding your heads in agreement, so I would assume. But what as jazz artists yourselves, what do you all wish people knew about being a jazz artist, jazz musician? Anyone?
That the world needs more jazz.
Right.
I agree.
Good jazz.
Yeah.
That we're not just coming up on stage and not knowing anything, and we're just gonna do everything on the spot.
Right.
There's a lot of practice that goes into jazz, and a lot of study, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about when like as being like jazz students yourself, when people are like, oh, I got a G major scale due at 11:59 p.m. Is that kind of is that something you guys go through yourselves?
I think so.
Is it on brand, or is it kind of just like, nah, guys, that's not what we do. We write essays on jazz and things.
Oh, we
No.
don't
No.
write essays.
We don't.
Actually,
we supposed to. We. I mean, we do it, but we don't want to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
what does like the average jazz assignment look like?
Transcriptions.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
It's basically like whatever instrument you play, your professor will make you learn a solo by ear and like write it out. And the purpose is like to improve your ears so you can like hear things on the spot and then like incorporate those ideas into your playing.
Oh.
Smart.
It's
Yeah.
really hard.
It's
Yeah.
very difficult.
It's
They're
hard
onto
when they
something.
make you do a lot of them. And then at the end of the semester, we have a jury where we have to play different things in front of all the professors.
Oh wow! Is that one of the intimidating ones that you guys were talking about earlier?
Every single professor's in a line staring at you, and they're not saying a word. It's
That's
crazy.
awful.
Yeah,
Judgment Day.
exactly.
Because it's supposed to mean that if you don't pass it, you're not able to go into the next semester.
Oh.
Really? It's that high stakes?
Yes.
I did not
Dang.
know.
I've
Wow.
never heard of someone failing it though.
Oh.
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just a requirement, but that requirement is based on where you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
no one plays at the same level, so
Right.
how are you gonna pick what's the requirements for the first semester? You can't do that. So everyone's like, because everyone's always practicing and trying to get better, everyone mostly passes all the time. So,
Yeah.
That's
but
good.
yeah, the jury is just an excuse to make you practice more.
Yeah. And I guess if your professor like doesn't think you played at a certain level, they'll definitely like tell you.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, mine like calls us after every jury.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes he's like, that was like 70% there, but the 30% kind of fell apart.
Great.
That's crazy.
Thank you at 11 o'clock p.m. Bye.
What is your favorite part of being part of like the jazz group and like community here in Lansing or at MSU in specific?
Just coming from coming from Nebraska and then coming here, the number one thing I just actually went back home for fall break and people were asking me like how it is up here. And the number one thing I say like right off the bat is everyone can play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's so insane. Like and just like grab some people and be like, hey, let's play some tunes, and it's so fun to just like have so many people to bounce ideas off of, to get to play like duo and trio with. That's something I'm really cherishing here.
I think the community aspect is pretty big. And like knowing that we're all kind of working on the same stuff. Like, I know my other friends won't understand how much work goes into it, honestly. Like, not that I think that they think it's not serious, but I think it's like doing a transcription is like a lot of work, especially some of the ones that our professors make us do. It's kind of like a ridiculous amount to expect someone, especially for some of them, in a certain amount of time to get done. So I think everyone just has a common understanding that we're like all working towards the same things, and like we care about music, we care about the same things.
Yeah.
For sure.
One of my favorite things is playing on the big band, because my other school didn't had a big band, and back home, because I did my undergrad and then I went back home to Mexico, there are no big bands, and if you wanted to make a big band, you're gonna struggle to find enough trumpet players, enough trombone players. So for me, playing in the big band here is a dream come true, because I've never done it before, and especially for the drummer, it's so scary, it's so much responsibility, because you're setting the time for everyone else, and you're setting dynamics for everyone else, and the hits for everyone else, and everything. Like the drummer is with so much responsibility, and also it helped me understand how hard it is to have a big band, like just to have like 20 people show up at the same time every week is really hard. And if one person misses, it really messes up the whole rehearsal, because that means you're not gonna, a lot of stuff. And then also preparing the music, man, if you're gonna have 16 to 20 musicians playing together, they need to have parts. Everyone is playing one note. So if you have one, let's say you're harmonizing the melody, and your melody, let's say the first note of the melody, you have to write that note and then 16 other notes that have to go with that one note. So imagine that for the whole song. So preparing the music is super important, and it made me realize how much work goes into having a big band. So that, and then when you look at today, you're not gonna see a lot of big bands because it's that hard.
Yeah.
So when I listen to big band music from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, it made me appreciate that even more, because I understand how hard it is.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys have a favorite jazz album? Or is
That's
that
a
kind of a
tough-
hard
That's
question?
a tough. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say Miles live at the Funny Valentine. I don't know. That's up there for me.
That's a good one.
I gotta check something really quick. I don't want to get this wrong.
You, John?
It keeps changing like every day. I have no idea.
What about today?
Today, Miles Davis live at the Plugged Nickel.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that thing is like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I said the right album. Mulgrew Miller live at the Kennedy Center,
Yes.
specifically Volume 1.
Okay.
For me, I have one that I love that is from Marcus Roberts, and it's called "The Truth Is Spoken Here," and it's just, I love it, because it's like the new guys with the older guys. It has some young guys, and then you got some legends like Elvin Jones and Charlie Rouse, and it's like it's almost like having Taylor Swift and Madonna on the same album.
This will happen one day.
What about you, Sydney?
What's my favorite jazz album?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot. Oh,
I
I guess
am
we
gonna
just
put
did
you
that to you.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have the time to think about that. Well, I know yours. Do I?
Do you?
I don't know. Well, mine, I would have to say, my favorite one of right now, actually, because I just bought a Freddie Red album that I really like, where he's, actually, no, we won't talk about Freddie Red. We'll talk about Samara. No, actually, we'll talk about Esperanza Spalding. I love Esperanza Spalding so much. But an album of hers, is it called Chamber something? Into the Chamber?
Chamber Music Society.
Chamber Music Society, you got it, yes. Of course the bassist would, yeah. But, yeah, I'd have to say that's the one that, she's like a modern, bassist, jazz, and also singer, vocalist. And I feel like she was my introduction to modern jazz, artists. So then I started going to Samara Joy, and then I started. I'm very much a vocalist person, so.
I'm gonna need all of your recommendations later.
Oh, I have an entire playlist. I'll give it to you.
We'll swap playlists.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite jazz album?
I feel like right now it's still that album that I recommended to you like last year at some point.
Yes.
And I don't know who recorded it or who the technical artist is, but it's called Kaleidoscope. And my boss from at home, it's a large like collection. I have it on vinyl, it's 3 vinyls in this one album, and it's a bunch of different people that play together. And every single song is like totally different. And I like to study to it. So that's probably my favorite. Probably just because it also has like sentimental value. But yeah, I think that one's really good.
Awesome. No, I will be looking into everything that you guys just said as well. It seems like you guys like a lot of the live albums. Is there a reason why you might prefer live over just like regular recorded things?
I think it ends up being better a lot of the time because it's completely organic. Like even if they have wrong notes or whatever, you can tell that the energy is like totally building together and they're all in the moment instead of like thinking from a perspective of like, oh, we're gonna go and record that again. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I find I mentioned humanity in the like 3 jazz words, but I feel like I find live studio recordings to sometimes feel really sterile. Especially if you get like, if someone does like 30 takes of something, it just feels it feels almost manufactured. Whereas live is like one shot. You really feel the energy, like the vibe. It's all captured there. And I do like audience sounds.
Yes, the clapping and the
And the silverware.
The silverware.
Bill Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna add to the album that you mentioned, Mia, My Favorite Valentine. I love that because there's a funny story that it was like Miles had younger musicians coming into their band, and that was like one of their first shows. And just before they go out on stage, it's a Carnegie Hall. It's one of those big theaters, Philharmonic, in New York, and it's like a gala. And they're about to go on stage, and Miles says, "Yeah, guys, and by the way, we're not getting paid for this." So the young guys there are like, "Yeah, I'm finally playing with Miles Davis. I'm gonna get that big money, They get really angry, and you can hear that when they're playing. And their story is how the drummer didn't like the saxophone player, so every time the saxophone player starts playing, the drummer just stops. It's like, you got it. I don't want to play with you. So it's like kind of immature, and I wouldn't want to play with people that do that kind of stuff. But it allowed for the band to do a lot of new stuff that they haven't done before. So that and you cannot recreate that in a studio.
Right.
You cannot, if that happens in a studio, I would just leave. Or you're not gonna pay me for this? Okay, bye. I'm not leaving anyone hanging. Yeah, there's no audience to leave,
Yeah.
And Miles did that on purpose, right?
He might have.
Okay, I think that was like
Miles the Masochist. No, but I do like the aspect of like you can hear the dynamics between like everyone happening in real time with like a live recording and everything. So that's beautiful, and that's like kind of happening right here. Dare I say?
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for having live music here.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep
Yes.
live music alive.
Yes.
Long live college radio.
No, dare I say, long live college radio.
When you guys listen to music, do you always not always, but a lot of the time do you listen to other jazz artists, or do you kind of like outside of you playing jazz, do you listen to a lot of other music?
Venture out.
I mostly listen to jazz. I listen to hip hop occasionally, but that's kind of about it.
If jazz is a vegetable, then I'm vegan.
Wow, that's a strong statement.
Call back.
I used to, like right now in my studies, like now that I'm in school, it's like, okay, I'm trying to digest as much jazz as possible. And there's so many records that I need to listen to in so little time. So right now it's like I'm cycling through a lot of that. But I feel like my listening journey, I've went through so much. I don't know if you know that, like I used to be a metalhead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
I
we
would
haven't
have
talked.
never
People were like, you haven't
What?
talked to
No,
them
me
on
either.
some
Oh,
days.
really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But like I've listened to so much stuff, and I feel like it all comes out in my playing in some way.
Well,
Metalhead to
I'm still a metalhead. Like.
Okay. Alright, show the people. Nice.
I listen to a lot of stuff. I listen to metal a lot. I go to metal shows. I went to see Cannibal Corpse for my birthday.
I'm jealous.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but I also like like Latin American music and Spanish rock and salsa, stuff like that. One of my favorite artists, like Bobby McFerrin, he has an album called Bang Zoom. And that's like outside, if you say outside jazz, that's my favorite album. Yeah, so I do listen to all this stuff.
All right. Well, if you guys would like to introduce the next song that you all are getting into tonight.
The next song we're gonna do is a very traditional song. It's from very early in the jazz, I guess, canon is what you would say. It's called "Do You Know What It Means to Miss New Orleans," and it's also traditionally performed as a ballad. But we are not gonna do that again.
Differently tonight.
Not that we don't like ballads, but you know.
Oh my gosh. That was good. I don't know. I enjoyed that. I don't know. Sometimes I feel speechless when I'm
At a
asking.
loss
I
for
don't know.
words.
I'm just like that. Do you guys like to digest jazz like while laying on the floor?
Yes.
That's personally like one of my like things that I do. I like to listen to jazz while laying on the floor.
Really?
Yeah.
I like to listen to jazz while I'm driving, and then I close my eyes. I'm joking. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. But when's you all's favorite times to listen to jazz outside of when you have to?
I listen to it all the time.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Every occasion.
When I'm walking.
Right.
Yeah, I'm walking, and I'm gonna double up on driving too. Driving is like, especially like when you have to commute to like Ann Arbor, Detroit, in 90
Right.
minutes. It's like, let's put on an album. Here we go.
Exactly. Top to bottom.
Yeah, are you guys album listeners or do you guys like individual songs? Okay, I see all nods
Yeah.
for album.
Because even though we were saying the studio album feels stale sometimes, it still gives you like it's like a complete meal. The artists, whoever they were, they thought about what they were gonna put on that album. So it's almost like watching half a season of a show. Did you really
Right.
watch the show? You can't say you did. So
The meat and potatoes. Okay.
With
so
the veggies.
with the veggies, of course, you have to
Yeah.
have the veggies. We have a vegan here. Let me be, let me make sure I accommodate. So as jazz artists, what would you say is the most, eye-opening moment you had as an artist? Kind of like, was it a performance maybe that you've had, or maybe even like the thing that launched off your love for the genre? It's kind of a loaded question. I'm known for loaded questions.
So in, oh gosh, I think it was it's 2025 right now. Okay. So in 2024, I took a plunge and I decided to audition for the Brevard Jazz Institute, which, as some people know, is basically like the MSU recruiting factory. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, but the faculty there have so many like incredible musicians, and so getting to be mentored by them, especially with not too many mentors back home, that was such a game changer for me to be around so many musicians. Feels a lot like being here, honestly, the MSU recruiting factory. So
What do you mean by eye-opening?
Kind of just like, even if you have like a favorite performance that you've done where it's just like, it's like it felt like you opened up the cavity that is your body, and your heart was just like, raw and open there for everyone to see and for everyone to give and for you to also give and receive all of those things.
I think it can be really hard to do that. Like we played this gig like last month, and honestly after I was like, man, I didn't like how I sounded at all. But then I listened to it again and I was like, there were so many moments where we were picking up on things together. I don't know, I think the goal is definitely to feel that way, but it can be hard to feel that way all the time.
Right.
My most eye-opening moment, though, was probably I was in New York, like 2 years ago around Christmas, and I got to see Peter Bernstein, who's this guitarist, with George Coleman, who plays, yeah, it was he's like 90 years old, and he's a saxophonist. He played with Miles Davis.
he's the saxophone in that band that the drummer didn't like.
Yeah. It was just incredible. Like, he was walking up with a cane, and it was like, wow, he's... Like, if you were to look at him, someone, like, not knowing who he was, like, you wouldn't know, what he was capable of. But as soon as he started playing, like, he made everyone... Like, the energy totally shifted. And he didn't tell any of the musicians. It was, like, Peter Bernstein, Emmett Cohen, Joe Farnsworth, and,
Peter?
Peter and...
Peter Washington.
No, it was...
Oh.
It was the guy
Jazz
from
Sushi.
Michigan. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. But, he, like, didn't tell them what songs they were playing beforehand. He just randomly would start playing a melody. And he started yelling chords. Like, he started yelling chords at Peter. But it was just incredible because it was totally real and, like, in the moment.
Yeah.
And
It's like chaotic, but I love it.
No, exactly.
it was awesome. Yeah.
Nice. Then both of you, what was?
When I was maybe 18, I was in Mexico and I won some kind of scholarship to go visit the Jazz Educational Network conference. It was in Kentucky, and I remember seeing a bunch of big bands by schools, and they just sounded incredible. And I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And I got to see a bunch of performances. And later on, I had an experience where I saw Roy Haynes, which at that point he was like 90 something, and he has so much like personality. He gets on stage singing, like his band is already there, and he just walks on and he's singing. Don't count your money when you're sitting at the table. Yeah, count it on. And he comes like kind of dancing, and I was like, oh my god, I love this guy. And then he played, and I think he was starting to have Alzheimer. So there's this song called James. You played it the other night, and I was like, that's one of my favorite songs. I don't know if I told you or Andrew. I was like, man, I love that song because it starts with he would play starting with the drums. So in the first set they played it, and then later in the set he started doing the drum intro again, and the band was like, nah man, we already played that one. And then they would kind of play the song, the melody, and when the melody ends they would just stop playing, and he was like, oh, come on guys, what's up? They played some other song, and then he would do the same thing. And I just fell in love with that song. The song is called James by Pat Metheny, but the version in Roy's album is called Tavo or something. The album's something French. That version is my favorite.
I gotta check that out.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a couple moments. When I first came to MSU, they had the little audition, and a student was playing with me who I'd never played with before. And sorry, I played with him, and I noticed a bunch of stuff that he was playing that I'd heard before on like jazz records, and it was kind of like affirming, like where I was going to end up, you know, because like when you play with someone who has ideas like from the jazz lineage, and you're pursuing those same ideas, it's kind of like reminds you what you're like striving for. So that was kind of like put things into perspective for me. Yeah.
Wow.
I was kind of curious if any professors from MSU were kind of like the Whiplash movie.
This year there is.
Oh, wait, we're on
Wait, hold on.
the radio. We can't say anything.
Only because Jazz Orchestra 1, where me and John play, we're going to a competition later in January, and Prof wants to play this song that's really, 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 really fast.
Oh wow.
But he's not being aggressive or disrespectful. He's just it feels like that moment sometimes. He's like, no, faster.
No fast.
He wants to win the competition. We want to win too, but he really wants to win.
Well, good luck to you guys on that.
Thank you.
That sounds like fun.
No, genuinely. So as people who are in a part of the jazz college at MSU, what are some resources or opportunities that you guys might want to highlight? Just that, you all know of, like I said, specifically being in the music college, kind of what do you want to share with the people?
The tours. You're talking about the tours.
Okay, so some of the top groups, we have like jazz orchestras, and so the big bands, that's like 20 people or
20
something.
people.
Yeah, and then the nonettes are like really 9 or 10 people. And they're like in a kind of a specific order, and the top of the groups get to go on these tours with visiting artists. So they'll kind of go around Michigan and go to different like venues and sometimes like high schools to do master classes. And then there's also competitions like this one in New York that they're going to, which is at like Lincoln Center, right? And it's like the top bands in quotes in the country, like competing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it's crazy because they won a grant from the Federal Credit Union years ago, which allows for the school to bring those artists, and just to play. It's like imagine you are like an up and coming soccer player, and then you get to play with Messi for a week. It feels like that, and then you get to be on the bus with that artist, and you get to hang and ask them questions,
Whoa.
and it's super special. Yeah, it doesn't happen in any other universities that I know of.
I didn't even know of this information.
Me either. That's why I
That's
asked
cool.
the question.
And at the end of the tour, there's always a concert either at Fairchild or at Murray Hall in the College of Music, where all the orchestra. If it's an orchestra guest, they play with all the orchestras, and if it's a nonet guest, they play with all the nonettes. So we all at school get to play with the artists, and it's open for the public too.
That's so cool.
Nice.
How often do you guys have like jazz shows through the College of Music?
I don't know. We have like 3 or 4 every semester, maybe.
I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We also have the swing dance.
Oh.
So
More
the
people should
beginning
come
of
to
the
that.
year there's a swing dance, and at the end of the year there's another swing dance.
At the end of the year, like December?
At the end of the school year, sorry.
Oh, okay, so like May.
May there's a swing dance.
Okay. Okay, I might have to
Sydney, you
check
want to
that.
go to a swing dance?
I want to go to a swing dance.
Maybe me and Sydney will show up.
Yeah, I know. I can bust out a few moves.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I want you to ask this
Oh.
question. This is, yeah.
Yeah, this is my question. I really wanted to know if you guys would start a jazz club, like
If you
a
had the
jazz
ability.
nightclub yourself.
A nightclub?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
Okay.
It's already
Okay,
enough
but
work
like
to play.
a
Yeah.
dream here.
I want to do that.
Nice.
I'm starting first. That was my idea. In Mexico City, there's jazz clubs, but we tend to complain that we don't like how they run it. So I was like, if I can't complain, I gotta do my own jazz club. So that was my idea. And then when I got to MSU and I saw like how Brevard works, where like there's a summer camp, and then we do outreach. We go to high schools, and then I see all the super talented musicians at school. I was like, okay, if I want to fix the scene, I need to help out with the education system. So I started like a tiny school program in Mexico. Over the summer, I took the director of jazz studies, Rodney Whitaker, with me, and I just won another grant, so I'm gonna bring her professor of guitar and a couple other people, and I want to eventually make a school in Mexico for jazz, and I want to have my own club too. I want to do all of it, man. So yeah, because I think so many people make jazz clubs, and sometimes they're like, "Oh, jazz is cool. We can make a jazz club." And like, there's so much things you gotta understand. You gotta understand like how the, alcohol business and food business works. You gotta understand how to set up a stage and what you need to do. Like I've seen jazz clubs where there's tables that are facing away from the stage.
That doesn't
And
make
they
much
don't see
sense.
anything wrong with that, and I'm just like, well, okay, that's how you want to do it. That's okay. So yeah, if I want to do it, I feel like if I do one, I'm gonna do it right, But I need time. I need time.
Okay. We'll give you a year and a half.
No, no.
Maybe like 10 years. I'll wait 10 years.
I'll wait 15. I'll wait 15 max. All
I
right.
got you. I got you.
Okay. So we have time for another song or another 2 songs for you all.
Yeah.
And then we have a little bit of a few more questions for you all. And yeah. So if
Closing
you,
remarks.
yes, closing remarks. So if you'd like to introduce the next song for us.
Okay, I think we've been doing a lot of songbook tunes. Songbook tunes are. I feel like I'm not gonna explain this right.
You got it.
I'm just gonna say songs with lyrics. That's what I'm gonna say.
All right.
Like singable, like that's how I usually learn them. But Michigan State specifically is considered a very bebop focused school. Bebop is a style of jazz like kind of created or pioneered by Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. Like before them in New Orleans, like the style it was more melodic, but it was more like sparse. Like if you listen to Louis Armstrong, he doesn't play a ton of crazy stuff. It's very like blues inspired. It's from the South. It has that vibe. But Charlie Parker, he invented this whole different style where he's playing really fast, but he's using a lot of notes, and he's still playing chords and playing melodic, but it can sound a little overwhelming if it happens too much. So we're going to play a bebop song called Scrapple from the Apple.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. I think that one was probably my favorite. I don't know.
I would have
I
to
was
agree.
grooving.
I was about to jump out of my seat and start doing the swing dance I was talking about earlier.
These cats are cooking.
Yeah. They're swinging. So if you'd like to go into introducing your last song of tonight.
Should we do an invitation or should we do a blues? Is the question.
Let's play blues.
Okay, let's okay. Okay.
Go Blues.
Blues for Alice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is also a bebop song.
Oh.
By Charlie Parker.
Yes, by Charlie Parker.
Thank you guys so much for coming in. That was.
It's always amazing having a band here. Even if it's not our genuine or not genuine, even if it's not our usual genres that we have in. So yeah, just wanted to say this has been our Basement and Sound of Color collaboration with the Mia Chinni Quartet tonight. And just so you all know, Sound of Color is Mondays from, what is it, 10 p.m. to midnight.
I think you should know, right?
I should know. I'm there every Monday, so. But thank you all so much again for coming in. It's been amazing.
Yeah. Do you guys have any upcoming shows that you'd like to plug?
The three of us have a show together at the Robin Theater in Lansing on November 1st at 1 p.m. We're going to have a jam session after we play together. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Well,
I'm
again,
not on it, but I'll be there.
well, again, thanks guys for tuning in. This has been The Basement, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.